Hey everyone, and welcome to the Sports Zone. I'm Camron Hammond here on the BYU Idaho campus, where we discuss what's going on in the world of sports and especially what's going on in the news. We have a great show for you today, and first off, we want to talk about Idaho State and their recent troubles they've had with their football program. As many of you have heard, I'm sure, Idaho State football coach Mike Kramer decided to get a little bit too physical with one of his players, and because of this, Idaho State and their athletic department has been in some hot water. Derek Graves, who is a junior wide receiver during one of their practices, went out for a drill, and I guess Coach Kramer became furious, came out and shoved Graves to the ground. And recently, Graves went on ESPN's Outside the Lines, and here's what he said happened.
First of all, we're doing a drill called 101s, when the receiver goes against the DB. And I told the quarterback my route. And after telling him my route, I was going back to line up. And it was a freshman cornerback out there. And my position coach said, hey, let's get an older guy out there. So after he said that, I signaled for an older guy. And then Coach Kramer, he started yelling. He became in an uproar. And, so I signaled for the freshman to come back. He was saying stuff like, hey, he's a varsity player. He's a varsity player. He just kept yelling that. So once I heard him yelling that, I signaled for the freshman corner to come back out there. So as I'm lining up, and then Coach Kramer, all of a sudden just, I look up and he's right there. He jumps in my face. And, he said he's an effing varsity player. He's already effing lettered this year. And then he pushed me.
So I've been taking a look at this video, and it's pretty tough to watch. You see Kramer come into the picture. He gets right up in Graves' face, and he shoves him right to the ground. It does not look good, and it does not reflect well for Idaho State or its football program. I guess Graves has had some neck troubles as a result of this and hasn't been cleared to play by team doctors yet. So overall, this is a pretty sticky situation for Idaho State and their athletic department regarding their public relations on how they handle this issue. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, how Idaho State has handled this issue and what recent developments have come. I've been taking a look at this issue over the past week, and I can say that it's not getting much better for Idaho State. First off, I think that Idaho State has done a pretty bad job with their public relations regarding this incident because not much has been done. In public relations, you're supposed to be upfront, you're supposed to be honest, you're supposed to be ethical, but I think Idaho State has tried to sweep this under the rug, and basically it's too big of an issue to do that. There's been a lot of public outcry regarding this situation and what needs to be done. Many people feel that Kramer should be fired, that the ISU athletic department needs to come out and apologize, try and make amends with Graves, but this hasn't happened at all. Kramer was suspended one game, and that's been about it. And recently, this is what I find interesting. ISU hired somebody to investigate the incident. They called this person an impartial investigator. Turns out this guy's name is Peter Welch. And if you don't know who that is, he is a longtime booster to the school's athletic department. I don't think that's impartial if you hire a booster who's given a lot of money to Idaho State, because what do you think he's going to do? He's probably going to side with the athletic department. And so this is just another black eye on the Idaho State Athletic Department and their public relations. Recently, there was an article written by a sports writer from the Post-Register. His name is Adam Lambert, and he wrote about Idaho State and how they've been handling their public relations. He called it Popeye PR, and he said that Popeye PR specializes in misdirection and, when required, physical intimidation. He said they try and take an existing product and help the gullible public see it in a new way. So basically, he's calling out Idaho State and saying, you know what, you've handled this not well at all. You need to, he says at the end of his article, save some face. You need to do the job right, save money, save recruiting. and basically own up to what has happened. And I think this is a very good point by this sports writer, because that's exactly what Idaho State needs to do. They need to be accountable for what has happened. They need to discipline their coach because they're responsible for him. They hired him. And they need to try and make this right, because a lot of people have lost a lot of faith in Idaho State. And not only do they have a horrible football team, they've won one game this year, but they are running a very bad athletic department as well. ISU also said, their athletic department also said that this matter is a private matter and that Kramer doesn't owe the public any answers. I'm not so sure about that, because if you look at it from a taxpayer standpoint, tax dollars help fund ISU, help fund their students' tuition, help fund scholarships. So I don't think there should be anything private about this. This should be a public matter that should be dealt with in a fair way and should be told truthfully to the public. So if I was ISU and if I was in their athletic department, I would be trying to push for this. I would be trying to help clear the air, to help the people see the truth. And I think the public appreciates that. And so that is one thing that I would advise Idaho State to do, is to be truthful and honest with the public and to own up to what has happened. So that's my opinion of what's going on down there in Pocatello, and I hope that ISU takes this opportunity to try and to do what's right. But recently, just within the past hour, we found an article from the Washington Post that says that prosecutors in Pocatello have decided not to file criminal charges against Kramer. So, will this be the end of this situation? I hope not, but as of right now, Kramer will not face criminal charges. So that's what we've been working on here in our Sports Zone studio. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Camron Hammond. Be sure to tune in next time when we discuss more about what's going on in the world of sports. Goodbye, everybody.